Hey everyone, welcome to Friday Night Live. I'm Tori Humphreys, a professional life coach, here to help creatives move from abstract ideas to concrete realities. And today, our focus will be on creating a safe place for our creativity. So what stops you from creating the way that you want? If you're like me, you fluctuate between setting way too high expectations for yourself, where you feel determined, and then on the other hand, you might give up due to the pressure of needing to be perfect and feeling completely overwhelmed. Recently, I had a conversation with my brother about feeling stuck because of my unrealistic expectations. Sometimes I think I can achieve all of my singing goals in one rehearsal because I want it to be perfect every single time. And obviously this isn't a realistic expectation, and because I set the bar way too high. And when I do that, I find that I'm not able to grow because I set these high expectations, and when I don't meet them, and typically I don't improve. Therefore, I don't grow. So, and also, in fact, I'm less likely to achieve anything, and it kills my creative spirit. When we find ourselves deep in our criticisms, we leave little to no margin for being ourselves fully. My brother mentioned that he focuses on one small thing that he wants to improve in one practice, and only that. He is specific about what he wants, and he makes it achievable so he doesn't get overwhelmed or disappointed in his efforts. He learned how to create a safe place for his creations. And it's a place where he can be honest about where he was, recognize that most improvements aren't going to happen in one setting or one day, and he takes a small step forward. I had to recognize for myself that I wasn't giving myself permission to sing just to sing. My biggest setback was that I wasn't cultivating a safe place for myself when I created. My excitement for singing was choked out by thoughts that told me that if others heard my mistakes, they would believe my voice was worthless. And that ultimately is one of the biggest unhelpful thoughts in my head, thinking that my voice doesn't sound good and feeling completely rejected. Another thing, though, is I would be afraid to practice while my kids were sleeping because I thought that I might wake them up. And for a long time, I felt restricted in my ability to sing. Either I'm focused on what other people are thinking about my singing, and hearing the mistakes I'm making, or I'm concerned with disturbing my kids. And so I felt restricted, and I didn't feel the freedom to sing how I actually wanted to. Now, I will tell you about some things that I have identified that have made me feel unsafe singing. And so I encourage you, as I give this list to you, to think about what resonates for you, or if during that time you want to write down some of the things that make you feel unsafe, if it jogs your memory, feel free to do so. Singing may not specifically be your creative talent. However, you may discover the same repetitive thoughts and fears that prevent you from creating a safe place for your creativity. And also, I'll mention another list of the things that have made me feel safe, and what has allowed me to experience more freedom in my creativity. And I hope that these lists both will help you to understand yourself a bit better, where you learn what hinders you and what helps you to create the best way that you do. So let me start with the things that make me feel unsafe. Comparing myself to other artists. This is probably one of the biggest ones. I found that when I listen to somebody else sing that I think sings way better than I do, I make a competitive thing where I'm like, I can be better than them. And then it's not about the joy of singing, it's about being better than the other person. And part of that stems from thinking that they are better than I am. Another way is, thinking other people will hear me make a mistake. And so with that, I've had to think, why is it so scary for me to think other people are going to hear me make a mistake? And where does that come from? For me, I'm afraid that people won't want to hear me sing anymore. Like it's a one or done. I get one chance and that's it. If people don't hear me make a mistake, then I can keep singing, but only in private. And this is part of the restriction I was talking about earlier. And it restricts me so greatly that I feel isolated in the limited options that I have for singing. And I don't honestly sing the way that I want to either. So some other fears that are along with making a mistake is cracking. Like if I'm singing a high note, feeling like in my head, okay, it's going to happen. And sometimes it can be for different reasons. It could be because I'm not feeling good or I've had a bunch of milk or whatever. But anyway, I'm thinking, okay, in the back of my head, I can't crack because that is like the worst thing ever. And believing honestly that I shouldn't make mistakes. So as you can see so far with the list, these are obviously unrealistic expectations. And something else that makes me feel unsafe is when I don't warm up before I sing. This stems from feeling like I don't have to sometimes, so it can be a pride thing where I'm like, I don't need to warm up. I can just sing whatever. But for the health of my voice, allowing myself to warm up helps me to feel safe. Also, the thought that I don't have enough time to practice. For parents out there, I'm sure you can relate that whatever creative forms you may have, thinking that you don't have enough time, and so you don't start. And you find that you haven't done a creative passion of yours in a while because you felt that you haven't had time. And so just reflect on if this might be true or not, because sometimes we can find little pockets of time or give something up in order to create this safe space for our creativity. Another thing, not getting much feedback from others about my singing and feeling alone. So if I don't hear people say anything, I assume that, okay, this is horrible, terrible, or thinking that people don't care, all of the above, those types of things. And on the opposite spectrum is when I receive too much constructive feedback. So maybe I am getting feedback, but it's not the feedback that I necessarily want, where it's very much like, okay, you need to make this 100 list of different things that you need to change about your voice in order to, in my mind, be a better singer. And it's overwhelming, like when we focus on all of the things that we want to change all at once and we're getting these feedback from other people. And something else that's unsafe for my singing is thinking that I should be able to make quick fixes for my mistakes. And this is a pride thing as well, where I think that, okay, I can get things done super fast and have all this progress, but not giving myself the space to actually learn and take my time can not be a safe place. And I start to shut down when I'm not seeing the results that I'm expecting. And last but not least, making the same mistakes over and over again. And something that kind of rings in my head that just kind of plagues me, honestly, is, thinking of the habits that we form. If we continue doing the same thing over and over again, we get the same results and we don't grow, we don't learn that way. But even thinking like that, can be a heavy weight that can also be unsafe creatively. So here are a few things that do make me feel safe. When I do singing exercises, so whatever exercises that is, practicing, allowing yourself to practice rather than perform. That's a quote from my brother. I love that. Not all practices are going to be performances. And when you allow yourself to practice, you allow yourself to make mistakes and show up however, and those expectations aren't there. So yeah, singing exercises. Also taking breaks from particular artists or creatives that we can't stop ourselves from thinking in comparison to them. So maybe it's just time to take a break. And allow myself the freedom to sing freely, mistakes and all. That makes me feel safe. Knowing that I am worth more than my voice. Okay, whatever creative entity you might have, knowing that whatever that is not the full of who you are. You are so much more than that. And if we get all wrapped up into one or two or however many areas, and things aren't going the way that we want to throw ourselves out with however we're doing. And that's not showing you how valuable you are and how amazing you are, even if you weren't doing anything else creatively. You have incredible value, and I want you to know that. So also knowing it's okay to make mistakes. I have this on here a couple of times because making mistakes does provide a safe place. Just like a little kid who's drawing a picture, and maybe it's not the way they want, or maybe it is, whatever. But just when you see it, you affirm them in what they're doing because you want them to continue to grow. And so provide that same grace for yourself when you're creating. Allow yourself to feel free in the mistakes. And also, are they truly mistakes? Sometimes we consider them mistakes, but is it just a part of the learning journey where this is just a step along the way and this is supposed to happen and this is normal and natural to happen and it's not necessarily a mistake? So something else that makes me feel safe is knowing that no one else can sing like me and I can't sing like anybody else. So that's a huge thing. That makes me feel safe, that only I can sing for myself and no one else can sing exactly the same way. Same for you with whatever craft of creativity that you have. Only you can do that and nobody else can. Having a community of safe people. Also, I want to bring this up. On Monday, I'm having an event that it's just a virtual co-creation group. So bring whatever form of creativity you may have and join me. I have a link for Google Meet and I'll put the link in the bio. And it's just a space just to create. You can mute if you don't want to hear everybody else, but just having a space to create together can really create a safe place. Changing one mistake at a time, or one thing at a time, should I say. So if you have certain goals for yourself creatively, just take it one step at a time so you don't get overwhelmed with all that's out there. Because there are so many things that are increasingly growing, things that you can do creatively. Just taking it one step at a time, knowing what you can confidently make a change in and being specific with that. Taking more risks and for me, it's going to open mics and reaching out and just allowing myself the freedom to be able to practice more to create that safety. Not trying to control the outcome of your creativity. So say you're, painting a picture and you want it to look a certain way and, maybe a few strokes weren't how you anticipated and it ended up looking very different than how you wanted. And that's okay, allowing yourself to free yourself of the responsibility for trying to control how things are going to come out. And just continuing to practice and go along with it. So, and last but not least, for me, I feel safe when I enjoy singing in the moment and I reflect on the things that I actually like about it. when we can focus and be present in the moment, there's so much joy that can be found while we're creating. And so I encourage you, as you're doing whatever creative form that you're doing, allow yourself to be in that present moment and just to be free and allow yourself that space. So after you make your own list of what makes creativity unsafe for you and safe for you, just explore the meaning behind the both of them. Maybe you feel unsafe because of certain experiences that you've had in the past. And so just explore what those could mean. Why do you not feel good when you make a mistake? Why do you feel safe when we have support from friends? This will help you have a deeper understanding for yourself, your creativity, and your purpose. And also consider the degree of impact for each item that's on your list as well. Some things may make us feel way more unsafe or more safe than others, and think about that. I'm coming to terms with the fact that it's okay if someone else hears me crack or sing the wrong note. And I also can sing with my kids around, even if it seems inconvenient for them. A safe place for me means singing a lot of wrong notes in order to sing better, and having the space to hold every potential note that's out there without judgment, while being realistic about my improvements. So take the time to build safety for yourself and your beautiful talents. This will help you to build confidence in your artistic abilities while helping you work through the hindrances that have held you back in the past. So from this, I encourage you just to think of one small change that you can make this week to have a safer place for your creativity. And of course, feel free to put what that small thing is for you in the comments. I'd love to hear about it. And that's all that I have for us today. Thanks for watching Friday Night Live at 4:05. If you're ready to step into your dreams but need additional help, let's create a plan together to make your dreams a reality. Just message or email me to set up a time to talk. And remember, your worth isn't measured by likes, comments, or Zelle payments. Your value is immeasurable regardless of what lies ahead of you. Thanks for watching. See you guys.